Namaste students, I hope you all are fine. So today I am going to teach you about the types of RNA. The first, that is mRNA, second tRNA, and the third, that is rRNA. First, that is mRNA, the full form is messenger RNA. Second, tRNA means the transfer RNA, and third, that is rRNA means the ribosomal RNA. Now, according to the central dogma, as I told you in the previous lecture, that from the DNA, the RNA it forms by the process of the transcription, and from the RNA, the genetic information it will come and code to form the proteins, means by the process of the translation. The genetic information it is present in the DNA, and that genetic information it will come in the RNA, and from the RNA the proteins that are formed by the process of the translation. So this is known as central dogma. Now what is the need for the formation of the mRNA? Step by step we will discuss these three types of RNA in detail. So first, that is mRNA, means the messenger RNA. So what is the need for the formation of the mRNA? Why it is required? Because the DNA it is present in the nucleus, and the protein formation it occurs in the cytoplasm region. The DNA is present in the nucleus and protein formation in the cytoplasm because the ribosomes that are present in the cytoplasm region. So how this genetic information it will come from the nucleus to the cytoplasm? By the formation of the mRNA, means from the DNA the mRNA it forms, and then what is the function of the mRNA? That mRNA it carries this information from the nucleus to the cytoplasm for the synthesis of the proteins. Next, we will discuss about the structure of the RNA. RNA, as you can see, that it consists of two ends. First, that is the 5' end, and the another end, that is the 3' end. And at the 5' end, methylated guanine cap that is present. And what is the function of the methylated guanine cap? That it protects the mRNA from degradation by hydrolytic enzymes, and it provides attachment point with the small ribosomal subunit during the translation process. So these are the main functions of the 5' methylated guanine cap. Now next is at the 3' end, means the opposite side, the poly A tail it is present. Why it is poly A? Why it is known as poly here? Because so many adenylate residues that are present here, adenylate bases that are present here. So that's why it is known as polyadenylate tail, and it is present at the 3' end. And the same function, means it is also having the same function, that it checks the degradation of the mRNA and helps the ribosome attach to it. Now next is the leader and the trailer region. In between the coding and the cap and coding and the tail region, leader sequence and the trailer sequence that are present, and they are the non-coding region. They are the non-coding region. It means that only from the coding region the protein synthesis it occurs, and the first at the first position, that is initiation codon, the initiation codon that are present in the coding region, and the initiation codons that are AUG and GUG, and in most of the organisms it is AUG. Now next is termination codon, that is UAA, UAG and UGA, and the detail about these initiation and the termination codon you will come to know when we will discuss the translation process, because this is the coding region from where the protein synthesis occurs. Means the information which is present in this coding region, it will come in the proteins, means it helps in the formation of the proteins. Now next we will discuss about the polycistronic and the monocistronic genes. Polycistronic genes means which these genes they transcribe they transcribe the mRNA. These genes, they form the mRNA, which is responsible for the formation of so many polypeptides. Okay, from one mRNA, so many polypeptides that are formed, because this mRNA, it is transcribed from the polycistronic genes, means the many genes that are present, and monocistronic genes means it transcribes the mRNA, which is responsible for the formation of only one polypeptide that is formed here. And monocistronic genes that are present in case of the eukaryotes, and the polycistronic genes that are present in case of the prokaryotes. Now students, next we will discuss about the structure of the tRNA molecule. In the tRNA, you can see here that there are loops that are present, and there are 4 sites that are present in the tRNA. Each tRNA molecule, it is very specific for binding a particular amino acid, and in this manner it helps in the formation of the protein synthesis. And the function of the tRNA, it will be more clear to you when we will discuss the process translation. Now we will study about the different sites that are present in the tRNA structure. So here you can see that the anticodon loop that is present, and what is present here, that is G, G and C. G, G, C, it is present, and this anticodon structure, it will binds with the complementary base pairing which is present over the mRNA molecule. It means it will bind with the complementary codons. The codons means that 3 base pairs that are present over the mRNA, and it makes the codon. And one codon, it is responsible for the formation of one amino acid, and these anticodons means the complementary base pairs having the complementary bases, they will attach with the mRNA depending upon the basis. If suppose over the anticodon GGC it is present, so what will be the basis here? That is CCG. Okay, on the mRNA, what are the bases? CCG should be present, and on that basis the amino acid, it will bind to the amino acid binding site. Now next is the ribosomal site. The ribosomal site of the tRNA molecule, it is also known as the T-loop. It is also known as T-loop, and this T-loop, it is responsible for the attachment with the ribosomes during the translation process, and this D-loop, it is known as the enzymes, and it will bind with the enzymes which helps in the formation of the proteins during the translation process. Now next we will discuss about the third type of the RNA molecule, that is ribosomal RNA. The ribosomal RNA, it is responsible for the formation of the ribosomes, because the ribosomes, it consists of the ribosomal RNA as well as the basic proteins. So in case of the prokaryotes, 70S ribosomes that are present, and these 70S ribosomes, they contain the 2 subunits, as each ribosomes, they consist of the 2 subunits, the one that is the large subunit and the one that is the small subunit. So the large subunit which is present in case of the 70S ribosomes, that are 50S, and the small one, that is 30S, and in case of eukaryotes, means the 80S ribosomes that are present, and they contain the 60S as the large subunit and the 40S as the small subunit. Now we will discuss that how many the rRNA and the basic proteins, which type of the rRNA and the basic proteins that are present in case of the prokaryotes and the eukaryotes. Students, the next type of the RNA, it is the rRNA. rRNA means the ribosomal RNA, and ribosomal RNA, it is responsible for the formation of the ribosomes, as I told you, and the ribosomes that are of 2 types, that is 70S and 80S ribosomes. 70S ribosomes that are present in prokaryotes, as you can see in this diagram, and the 80S, they are present in case of eukaryotes. In case of prokaryotes, the ribosomes, as they are made up of the large subunit and the small subunit, they are composed of the rRNA and basic proteins. So in case of 50S subunit, 23S rRNA, 5S rRNA and 34 different basic proteins that are present, and in case of 30S subunit, 16S rRNA and about 21 different basic proteins that are present. In case of eukaryotes, 80S ribosomes that are present, and they are composed of two subunits, 60S large subunit and the 40S small subunit. In case of 60S, 28S rRNA, 5.8S rRNA and 5S rRNA that are present, and in case of 40S, 18S rRNAs that are present. That's all for today.